What's good, fam? Hope all is well, and welcome to a different kind of video today. There's no gameplay. Of course, I put some gameplay, some random gameplay video I have that didn't make it to a video, but just put in the tier list. But this is a tier list right now of killers who are the most fun to play as and go against. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll try to do both, but preferably this one I'd say is more for playing against. Yeah, but I also mentioned if they're fun to play as, but mostly it's ranking if they're fun to go against, and that's part is important since this game does have 4 survivors and 1 killer, and the killers make the game basically. Of course you need survivors, but I think the killer role is more important, right? Because if there's barely any killers, the queue times are long. And then if there's barely survivors, the killer players could also just go to survivor and that's it. We've had the issue before when the killer sided patch came out. But, it is what it is. But I think, the killer definitely makes the game fun. Because when there's a new PTB, right? Who are we looking more forward to? The survivor or the killer? The killer. So this is mostly which killers are the most fun to play against. So we'll start right now. Let's start with the boy Trapper, right? Since he is the flagship killer. Trapper, if he's fun to go against, I put him at C. To play as, it depends. If you're against people who are newer to the game, it's definitely Trapper definitely feels powerful, right? Because people might not know, the new players might not know where the traps go. Usually, the classic traps and everything like that, vaulting at the shack window, not a good idea. There's most likely a trap there, stuff like that. But to play against, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's not unfun either. Especially if you know where the traps are, okay. It could be a little interesting. The jump scares are funny too. When you get a trap out of nowhere, especially when you step on a trap, you're like, why in the hell out of all places you put it there? Out in the open somewhere. But, I'll give him a C for that. It's just it's just a regular basic attack killer. There's some traps around, big deal. You can undo the trap. It becomes less fun once the iridescent add-on is present, when it just resets every 30 seconds, so that kind of ruins the fun. But it could be fun for the killer, though, especially when they're trying to open the exit gate. So especially if you go against an impossible endgame trapper where you can't even open the exit gate, that could be probably unfun, but it's definitely cool for the killer. So that's just how it is. But I'll give him a C. Blight, I'll give Blight an A. Of course, playing against the killer, right? If the killer uses his power and they're good, but not too good, it's always fun. I say A for Blight. Some people complain and say, oh, I see Blight every game. I don't actually. And when I do see Blight, it's always a pleasure. Sometimes even an honor, because, his add-ons might be very strong, but it only feels like he needs to be nerfed, I feel, if the Blight is really good. But if the Blight is just a regular player, he's like, they're good. They're good, but they're not oppressively good. They're not like Lilith Omen kind of good, then it can be fun. It's fun going against the Blight flicks. You spin him around him when he bounces off a wall and tries to hit you with a lethal rush at the last second. It's pretty cool stuff. So I'll give him an A. I think it's fun, especially when they do hug techs and stuff like that, and you do a nice little juke. That's always pretty fun. Doctor, I'll give him a C. A lot of doctors, usually they're kind of, I'm sorry, I gotta say, but they kind of trash. They just be shocking for no reason. There's no loops. Now, if they're doing it because they're trying to do a fun build where they want you to reach madness and, they're trying to do a build to mess with the terror radius or something like that, I get it. But some people just be shocking for no reason. And it is kind of weird. But he is the most versatile killer, I think. Some people might argue Skull Merchant or Wesker because of the 44-meter terror radius, but I still think Doctor is still the most versatile. You can run stealth build. You can run any build on Doctor. So, he's definitely fun to play as, but against. It's just you get shocked. If you're a stealth survivor, he's your kryptonite because, he'll know where you are at all times. And then, usually just a lot of doctors are not that good. But, people who actually can play Doctor, they definitely will test your skill. I'll tell you that. Artist, I feel bad. Artist, I might have to give her a D playing against her is not always fun. It's definitely cool. She's definitely fun to play as, I think. Especially if you're really good, and it feels so good when you hit your shots and then you down a survivor or injure them. Especially downing them is very satisfying. Especially from far away when you crow snipe. Oh man, it is fun. But to play against, it's very aggravating, and I'll tell you why. Especially if you don't have your own keybinds. Because you'll try to get the crows off, and there's nothing more frustrating than if you're like 98% done getting the crows off, but like you have to vault because let's say the artist didn't break a pallet and you think they're going bloodlust and you're hurt, and you know you've already been hit by a crow and you got hindered because of the add-on, let's say, right? And it's like, damn, I have to vault this now, or I have to drop this pallet. I was 98% about to get the crows off of me, and now I gotta start all over again. And then you get hit, you know, and then playing against her, you know, it came out during the time where it was like 4 killers in a row where it was just like anti-loop. You had Pyramid Head, Nemesis, Trickster, and then her. And it was just that time in 2020, 2021 where it was just like just over and over again. It's just every killer was anti-loop. So that wasn't a good time because she's definitely a fun killer to play as and very strong. The strongest killer no one uses, I think. But just playing against her can be very miserable, especially in that time where you kind of just had to pre-drop and run straight when it was kind of justified back then because every killer that came out was just anti-loop, and Artist is one of them. Some of those killers were stronger than others in anti-loop. I don't think she's necessarily oppressive anti-loop unless she's in mid-witch or in a place with bad loops for the survivors, but you know, it's just stuff like that. It's just the gameplay-wise. Skull Merchant, I'll give her a D as well, unfortunately. And the reason why is because playing as her, I actually enjoy playing her. Not anymore. But that's because survivors just are boring playing against her. Because I'm not trying to do 3-gen or chess merchant at all. But survivors, they just pre-drop and run straight. And even if I play Myers or Sadako, they don't do that. Or even Ghostface, not as much. But her, I feel like every game I play with her now, they just pre-drop, run straight. And then they'll teabag me at the end like they did something. And it's like, dude, I literally couldn't even get a hit on you guys because you literally pre-dropped and ran straight. So, and I'm not even trying to play 3-gen Skull Merchant. So, playing as her, I think she can be enjoyable because she has different weapon animations with her cosmetics. But her power stinks. And that's the issue going back to now. If she's fun to play against, it is definitely very miserable because you're in a drone and you hack the drone and you have the thing in your arm. And then, you know, she tracks you. It's like, oh, cool, she's tracking me. Look, the predator signal came out. But then, you know, you try to loop, and then there's a pallet dropped, and then you know that that's built-in dissolution, which is not a big deal. It's whatever, but it definitely takes away the last line of defense you have as survivor. And, you know, going back to the anti-loop thing, it is tough to have fun going against a killer that can neutralize your only defense against them, which is, you know, looping. And that's the fun part of the game. You don't want to deny the most fun part of the game. So, but, you know, that could be one thing, is just that, you know, that built-in dissolution. And then the real kicker, honestly, for why she's not fun to play against is just the 3-genning. You know, even though I've noticed that when you try to put drones on the gens, the game kind of doesn't let you. There's always, like, one side of the gen that's, like, doesn't get covered by the drone, so the survivors could do it. So that's better for the survivors, but it isn't fun for the killer because, like, you can't use it during chase. You can't use it really you could use it during chase, but survivors are just going to run straight and get away from the drone, so you don't really have a chance to use it in an anti-loop way. The only way you can get value out of the add-ons is if you're in the radius, but the survivor runs away, it's like, oh, now I got to leave too and use my little phablet, my little phone tablet, and, you know, disable the drone and try to put a new one in. And it's just the design of the power is just horribly designed. She probably needs a rework. I just don't know what to do with her, though. And I think she's cool. But it's just the power, man. It's just not cool. Like, you just lay it down somewhere, you know. Now, if you could put the drone where you can, like, remotely put it somewhere, maybe that could help. But it's just not worth it. The 3-genning and all that. And then they took away the 3-gen perks. You can't. That's not even really viable, but you can still do it. But, you know, that's not fun to go against either. So unfortunately, I got to give her a D. Myers, I give him a B. I actually have fun going against Myers, especially the different builds he can do. Scratch Mirror Myers in RPD, and especially Larry's, is really funny. I went against Scratch Mirror Myers once in Larry's. This definitely feels oppressive because, there's walls everywhere. Cut a corner, there's always a wall, so, and you can still hear him breathing, but still, he can still jump scare you. And RPD is really fun, though. Going against Myers in RPD, Scratch Mirror Myers in RPD is definitely fun, since it is a pretty open map sometimes. But then, like, they could just come out of nowhere. Like, the Cool Mike show does it all the time. There's other Myers mains that do it, where they'll just drop down from the top floor and then, boom, hit you with the knife. It just was jump scare. It's fun. So, but then sometimes it's not fun because, and I've done this before, where I might be getting Gen Rush and I'm playing as Myers, and then I use the Tombstone piece, and then boom, I get you out the game. And now there's one gen left, but at least the survivor efficiency, the gen efficiency goes down 25% because one person's out. So, Myers is either very, very strong up close quarters, or could be weak. So it's debatable on if he's fun to play as, but playing against him, I say he's pretty fair. But playing as a killer, his early game is definitely not good. It definitely was good back in the day when people didn't really know how to play the game. And it was like, oh shoot, cool, look, it's Michael Myers. But like now, like gens be flying, survivors are good now, so he needs a rework, but they're not gonna do it because they look at the statistics and he probably has a decent kill rate, and they're like, oh, he doesn't need to be reworked. And he has some busted add-ons, which can be fun to play as, but against it could be a little frustrating. But it is funny seeing like trying to guess, like, yo, do we have a Tombstone Myers? Do we have a Tombstone Peace Myers? Do we have a regular Myers? Do we have Forever Evil Tier 3 Myers? I think it's pretty fun. So just trying to guess his play style and his add-ons, I think it's pretty fun. So I give him a B. So I have some good videos against Myers. Some 4 or 5 gen chases, and then there's other ones where he destroys us. So you never know with Myers. I think it's very sporadic. You just never know what you're gonna get. So so it's pretty good. Clown, I guess I would put him as a C. And the reason why I give him a C is because I know a lot of survivors don't like to go against him because, the bottles, it makes them feel sick, and the wooziness of the screen. It is another thing that's difficult. Is he's kind of anti-loop. And, again, it's hard to go against a killer to do the fun part of the game when you kind of deny. He doesn't necessarily deny. It's just you kind of forced. It's kind of like a doctor situation. You're kind of forced to pre-drop to stay safe because, he can zero in on you. But it is fun. When you're in a chase, you see a bottle, and you're like, wait, that's not a purple bottle, it's a yellow bottle. And then the clown actually uses the yellow bottle. I think then he becomes a little more fun. He's like, oh, shit, yo, a speeding clown with a big belly, what the fuck? So when you see a killer using the power to the full potential, it's definitely more fun to play against. But playing as Clown, I always liked Clown. I love Clown. I think he's awesome. He can slow survivors down. You can do some fun builds with him. Anti-healing Clown with claustrophobia and the difficult skill checks with distressing is great. He's definitely more viable now because he doesn't just throw purple bottles and then makes everyone slow and that's it. And then, Pinky Finger strong too. I don't use it often, but anyone who can use it often, instead of vilifying them and getting angry at them for using that because oh, why you made me expose, you should praise them actually, because that takes skill to use. But I can understand why it's frustrating as Survivor because yo, you downed me in one hit, but it takes skill. You gotta dodge it, and they have 2 or 3 bottles, so you just gotta dodge it. Survivors have strong stuff, so killers should have strong stuff too. It balances it out. But playing as him, I'd say he's fun as hell. But playing against him, a lot of survivors don't like it. Me, I give him a C. It's just like he could be fun sometimes, but sadly, kind of got to pre-drop against him a lot because he slows you down. So. It is what it is. Singularity, I give him a B. It's fun. It's fun to when you're doing a gen, and then you hear that little sound effect, that cue that he's looking at the camera to see you, and then it does suck because I feel like you can't counter when the thing shoots the biopod at your back. But you just have a split second to get out of the way. But when he teleports to you, if the singularity is good, it can definitely feel tough going against it when he's in his overclock mode because you can't stun him. He vaults very fast, but he earns it. And you can counterplay it. You have the the EMP device. So, but they definitely put the killer in a better place where he doesn't feel like he doesn't have a power. You know, Survivor gets slowed down now during chase to use it. He was definitely more fun to play against when he was a little weaker before all those buffs, because you could do some cool plays where you're in the chase and then boom, I got the EMP out the last second while having the same speed. But now you can't really do that, so he's not as fun to play against, but he's definitely more balanced and fair to go against, if that makes sense. Yeah, play as and against. But he's not oppressive. He's not necessarily anti-loop, and he can be anti-loop in regards to you can't stun him, and he can vault very fast. But the Singularity earned it at the end of the day, and that's on you. You know, you just gotta try to counterplay. You can't counterplay everything to the fullest extent. You gotta have some defense, but not everything, or else it's not fun to play as or against. So then it's up to your skill and the perks you have. If your teammates take a body block for you, you know that, and then it's all up to you. And it's nice when it's sporadic and you have a myriad of options to choose from. So I'll give him a B. I think he's fun to go against. It's fun to dodge his biopods and just try to get out of the line of sight of the camera. So I'll give him a B. Freddy, I'll give him a C. Playing as Freddy could be miserable sometimes because he just has his basic attack, and then, you know, you can put your, I forgot what the power is called, but the thingy with the red thing, the pool of blood thing, and with the arms, and then you go, oh, and you get slower and shit. It's like, alright, cool, I could probably slow you down and hit you, but, you know, you're still can't do anything about the pre-drop, run straight meta. You know, you don't have a regular attack, and then you never can run a true scary Freddy build in the sense that you can't be undetectable Freddy because you have a lullaby, so they always know when you're coming, so that's annoying. You lose your power the more gens get done. I feel like the killer should be stronger as gens get done, but it feels like you get weaker because you can't teleport. So for survivors, it's like, well, we could bully a Freddy. He's fun to go against. Like, I could bully him and stuff, but like at the end of the day, if you think about it, like you don't have to worry about, oh, is he undetectable? Will I get jump scared today? You always know when he's coming, so it's like, oh, okay. And then there's nothing about his power that's really interesting. Like the counterplay is just like, oh, you know, I can try not to greet a pallet and then pre-drop before he hits me. Not pre-drop, but stun him. And then if I get hit with the hindered thing, I just gotta drop the pallet early and then just do one more loop. Like, I don't know. It does become more fun playing against him if he has dream pallets, though, because it's like, oh, is this real or not? Then you have to remember. So now you really have to make sure you have good memory and you had enough sleep the night before. Right? You know, you gamers out there don't sleep, right? Just playing this game all the time. But you gotta remember if, you know, was this pallet dropped? Oh, there's two pallets so close to each other on the RPD front desk. Which one is the one that has the pallet usually? It's very interesting because, you know, the RNG, the spawns of the pallets change. So it's very interesting. So that can be a little more fun to play as and against the Dream Palette Freddy. In regards to his base kit, though, it's not very remarkable. I wish they did Freddy a little more justice in this game, but oh well. Deathslinger, playing against him, it depends. I'll give him a B. A lot of survivors don't like going against him, and this is gonna be this controversial, right? Because I hate that they nerfed Deathslinger, but at the end of the day, it's understandable. But it's kind of helping out like bad survivors. So back in the day, right, before you could just like press L2 and you automatically aim. So if you like had something in your screen that helped you aim assist, or if you were just that good at Deathslinger, you could just, the survivor wouldn't know when you're gonna shoot because you could just aim right away and just shoot. But of course, you would be really good. I think that a killer should be allowed to be strong if the person behind the screen is very good at the character put time in. But now you're giving survivors counterplay where now he has to aim down sights and it takes like 0.5 seconds to aim. I think that's how much it is, half a second. And yeah, there should be counterplay for sure, but if the person is good at Deathslinger, they should be allowed to be good at Deathslinger. So if you're nerfing them by giving survivors a chance because they won't know how they can dodge it just because the Deathslinger behind the screen is that damn good, that sounds more like a you problem as a survivor than the person. The person behind the screen deserves that shot if they're that good. Not everyone is good at Deathslinger. It's not easy. Even the old Deathslinger, you still had to aim. You know, you still had to aim and be good at the quick shot. And it was a lot of fun, but, you know, behavior over the years has nerfed all the fun stuff. Look at what they did with Drift King Billy. You can't even really play that anymore because of the freaking overheat now. You can't even chainsaw long distances. You can't do locker flashlight saves, because they gave you built-in Lightborn when you take a survivor out the locker. But that one's understandable. But a lot of stuff, the fun stuff they took away from back in the day, but some parts were a little oppressive, and they took that away. With Deathslinger, that aim down sights things really messed it up playing as him, but he's definitely fun to play as. But it's also very fun when you hit the shots. So you just got to make sure you're actually hitting your shots. So if you're not hitting your shots, obviously you're not going to have a good game. And then for the survivors, I think playing survivor, I think it's fun dodging his shots, but unless the Deathslinger is too good. Like, I got shot through the shack wall one time, and I wanted a DC so bad. I'm like, how the hell did you get me there? When you face off against a cracked Deathslinger main, it's scary as hell. It is so scary because you're like, yo, this dude hits every shot. I went against Deathslingers, they literally did not miss at all throughout the game. They were just treating it like target practice. Like, they just let us live because they just felt like if they knew they could beat us, they would just say, oh, let me just chase you here. I downed you. Oh, I caught you. Okay, let me chase this other person just for fun. Because there's some people that play Deathslinger, and sadly, you think you need a nerf because they're just that damn good. Because they don't miss. And then the annoying part about Deathslinger playing against him is that if you're playing against a really good Deathslinger, not even just decent, just very good, you always, even decent too, you always have to look back, and that's not fun because you might hit something like, oh crap, now I'm zoned out because if he shoots me, if he aims for me, I'm going to get shot, and if he hits me, I get hit, and you want to play safer survivor because you don't want to die. It's not a one-on-one game, it's 1-on-4, but you don't want to be the one that dies. You want to win, but you have 3 other teammates, and it's like, well, I want to win though, but so, behavior has a tough job there where they have to balance that out, for the individual experience, but also understanding that it is asymmetrical at the end of the day. So, but I think he's definitely fun to play as, and watching him, like, going against, like, a good Deathslinger, just hitting these cracked shots and, like, shooting people through the bottom of the opening of the shack at Dead Dog Saloon, and he's shooting people through the legs is freaking amazing. Like, and he's awesome. There's no killer like him. He's the only killer with a rifle, with a gun, basically. So, it's awesome. He's very unique. Twins? Man, Twins is an A, bro. No questions asked, bro. I don't know why people don't like Twins. I think they get a 1% pick rate. That's disgusting. They should get at least like 3. Like, they should get picked more often. They're fun. I love kicking Victor. It's fun dodging Victor and then kicking him later. Kicking the little guy, the little monster, the little devil is hella fun. There's no killer like the Twins. You get to be small and then big later. You get to play as this big bulky lady named Charlotte with muscles but who's dirty as hell. But they have an amazing lore, crazy backstory, and it makes sense that they're killers in the entity's realm. They don't care for the entity. They just want to be with each other because they love each other. They're the only people that had each other's back. Well, everyone else hated them except their mother. Like, their story makes sense. Their power is very unique. There's no killer like them, just like Deathslinger over here. Like, you're basically playing as Chucky, but like just pouncing. And then, like, they're just awesome. The only thing is that it's not fun playing as them, is that they take like 50 years just to switch between the two, and there's a lot of restrictions because they're very good at slugging. Like, Twins used to be really good at tournaments. I bet they still are. And for camping as well, but they've nerfed it a bit where you can't really stay close to the hook as Victor if someone's hooked, and it's getting annoying there. There's too many restrictions with Twins, but playing against them, they're hella fun to go against. Charlotte's just a basic attack killer, so you could just treat her like one, but like just going against Victor and then getting jump scared because he has the add-on that his tear radius and warnings are smaller when he's holding in his pounce is a lot of fun. Like, Spooky Loops did a whole funny video with that, and it's hilarious. And just seeing all these cool Victor snipes, like Lynxie, I think, is still the only person on planet Earth in existence, in the Milky Way, in the galaxy, in the history of any multiverse, that can hit a cross-map snipe from the Area Crow's tower to the floor. That is amazing. All of you 2 people or whoever that play Twins, y'all are cracked. And I wish there were more of you guys, because Twins are fun to go against. They might be a little miserable to play as sometimes, because like I said, the restrictions of switching between the two, and you down somebody with Victor, you slug a little bit, and then you have to play Charlotte, and you're like, okay, where did everybody go? And you're wasting your time trying to find people and picking them up, and then gens are still flying. It can be frustrating. So I feel like they're more fun to play against than playing as, which is unusual because there are many killers in this game that are miserable to play against, but us killers might say, or killer mains might say, hey, they're fun to play as. But like Twins, I feel like they're one of the few killers where they're miserable to play as sometimes because of all those restrictions. because they can be powerful in a very unique way. So behaviors try to nerf it so it's not too miserable for survivors. Since it is 4 people against 1, you got to think about them as well. But they're definitely fun to play as for sure. Kicking the little dude is unlike any killer survivor against killer experience you'll have in this game. Knight. This dude, I'm gonna give him a D, bro. I'm sorry. Playing as Knight can be miserable. Like, if you even try to use the power of the AI to help you, it can be tough to land. And if you're really good at that, you're a weirdo. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But like, it does not. There's no. He's very unique as well. There's no killer like him where he sends out 3 of his homies that he loves to death, that he's been loyal to. Like, he has a cool lore as well, and an interesting relationship with Vittorio, who's the survivor that was released with him. But it's very unusual that like you can use him to like just let the AI play for you. It's not effective anymore, but he can feel a little oppressive sometimes, especially in an uncoordinated solo queue team. You can, playing as him, you can sometimes have a lot of fun where you and the AI are chasing different people. He's one of the few killers in the game where he can chase and affect multiple people at the same time. Of course, for him, it's very limited. Like, artists could do that as well, Nemesis. But playing against him, there's some nights, man. Like, I've been against a few where I just felt like I was just losing the AI. I was having more difficulty dodging the AI than him, but it can be fun playing against him when you use his power against him. Like, I made a video recently on my Twitch stream, by the way, name Official Platino King. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to check me out, please do. It's a lot of fun. And, I'll definitely Swift with you as well, in the lobbies as well. We could play together. But I've used his power against him in loops many times in one game, like 2 times in the game in a row, in the main building of Huntress's map. I forgot the name. The forest map, Red Forest. And it was cool. It was an adrenaline play after I got the endurance and speed from going to his banner, the flag thing. But he can be miserable to go against. It's just like you feel like you lose an AI, and then if you don't use your power, you're just a basic attack killer with a cool cooldown animation and Mori. But there's nothing much to you. Your power is literally sending an AI to attack people. He's one of the best campers in the game in 3-geners, but that's another thing. 3-gen Knight is not fun. Of course, it's like Skull Merchant. The gen regression perks are not what they used to be, so it's not as strong as they used to be, but you can still do it. But it's not fun to go against. Holding survivors hostages for an hour until the server crashes is a very terrible way to win, and you could have earned more blood points playing other games. At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But he's definitely not fun to play against, because you never know if you're going against 3-gen Knight or a Knight who, he's just having a hard time hitting his power against people and using his AI to chase. If he doesn't use his AI, he doesn't have a power, and he needs his power, and then he'll lose. So who knows? So that's the tough part. Demogorgon, that dude is A, bro. Demogorgon is so fun to play against. He's so rare now. You're not that rare. You'll more likely see a Demogorgon than a Hag, okay? Or even twins. But Demogorgon's so fun to play against, You never know if you're getting undetectable Demogorgon, like I like to say peekaboo Demogorgon. You get a Tinker, he comes out the thing, his portal, and then he has no terrorators for a few seconds because he add-on and he hits you. Him shredding can seem oppressive because, he could just break through my thing, my pallets. But if you can time it correctly and you try to dodge it, don't crouch tech. That's messed up, guys. Stop with the crouch tech, and that's not cool. That's abusing the game of bad designed game mechanics. Badly designed game mechanics. That's not cool. So don't crouch tech. That's not cool. Accept the down. If you get down, you get down. Take it. But he's definitely fun to play against. The shred attack, he can definitely be strong. He's definitely fun to play as. But at the end of the day, he's still a basic attack killer with a special attack, but it could be hard to hit. You can go far with it, but you can't really control, you can't control the direction that he's flying at. You could just kind of aim it and go straight for a little bit. While Wesker, you can aim it. So, they play very similarly in that regard. But Wesker's more high mobility killer than Demo is. Demo is literally just to attack. That's what that shred attack is, and to prig pallets and walls a bit faster. And you can run some fun builds with Demo. You could run any build with Demo, honestly. So that's a good thing too. And Save the Best for Last with him is extremely strong. It's very strong. So I'd say he's very fun to play as and against. He's an A for sure. Huntress. I give her A. I give her A. She's fun to play against. I don't know what it is, but you guys know when I face a Huntress, like, it's always a pretty good game. Like, I have great moments against her, and I don't know what it is, but Huntress brings something out in me where, like, I just juice her very uniquely. Like, Huntress is one of those killers you can juice in a way that you can't really juice for other killers. Like, she's a threat from far. She's a threat when you don't even hear her terrorists. Like, have you ever gone against a good Huntress where, like, you're in the corner map and she's still hitting you? Like, let's be honest, man. Huntress mains are heaven sent, man. They're angels sent from above. They don't run gen slowdowns. They might run a little, Iron Maiden to get the hatches faster when they reload. Nurse is calling, barbecue and chili. I forgot what the other one is, but that's typically the Huntress build, And Shadowborn, right? There's no gen regression there, so it's always fun when you go against a killer that doesn't have gen regression. You get to do your objective a little easier. You don't have to keep doing the boring part of the game, which is doing gens over and over again. So, and then she's just cracked. So if you're going against a good Huntress main, all she can do, she can hit you from far away up close, and you can dodge by ducking, going around the corner. The Huntress hitbox is a little janky still, but she's still very fun to go against. You can use Dead Hard to get some distance, body block for a teammate. So she's not super oppressive, but she's still a great killer. But like, you can counter her. You can counter her. Even if she's good, you can counter her. You just gotta have good teamwork. Depends on what kind of perks you got. So you could do a lot of good stuff against her. So that's one thing I'll say. Wraith. I'll give Wraith a B. I don't really enjoy going against them because it's hard when you're going against stealth killers because you have solo queue teammates, but then at the same time, you're just like, oh, well, he's still a basic attack killer. He's not like anti-loop or anything like that. And it is fun to drop a pallet on a Wraith who is trying to mind game you, right? In the sense that he comes out the cloak and he has a little speed boost. So it's cool when you're stuck on a pallet and he's on the other side and then he's trying to hit you. So you have to play a little 50-50 game of which side is he going to try to hit me from so I can get a pallet stun. And then you could bully a Wraith, if you have your little Swift, you could do a little bully squad against him. You can blind him. You can do all kinds of techs. He's definitely counterable. He's not oppressive. You can still loop him. And then he can be a little unfun to go against if you have the Wraith with a silent bell, and if you has the add-on to see through auras, and if you're in an indoor map. I went against that one time in Larry's, and it wasn't easy. I have a video of that. I forgot what it was called. I think I was playing as Claire Redfield and Larry's against the Wraith, and that wasn't fun. He was like camping too and tunneling, but it is what it is, bro. It's DBD at the end of the day. Killers gotta do what they gotta do, survivors we gotta do what we gotta do. So, but Wraith was definitely very weak back in the day. He could just uncloak and cloak and that's it. But now they've made some of his add-ons base kit. They made him stronger. He can be very strong, but he's not too strong and he's not too weak like he used to be. He's at a pretty good spot. So I say he's a B. It's just when you get the Silent Bell add-ons and you're indoors, that can be a little tough to go against because you don't get that warning, that counterplay that, okay, he's coming. You should probably try to run a sprint burst out of there. But he's pretty fun. And then it's very interesting going against Pallet Breaker Wraith when he has the add-ons. And then if he has Fire Up and all those, Brutal Strength where he can break pallets in like 0.01 seconds. Then you realize, okay, I can't drop the pallet too fast. That's what he wants to do. So then you have to go against that mind game if he 99% is uncloaked and he doesn't do it, and then or he'll stand there uncloaked and then he'll just swing in place and you drop the pallet because you're trying to camp the pallet. It could be some fun mind games against Wraith. I've had some good moments against Wraiths. I don't enjoy going against him all the time, but he's definitely not oppressive, so he could be fun to play against. So because you can counter him. Plague. This is a tough one. I'm giving her a painful C, and this is why. Playing as her, she's very strong. She can even feel OP sometimes. She's very strong, especially when you can turn your goop, your spit into the corrupt purge, and you can do damage to survivors, and you can go for fun shots, and you shoot up in the air, and you do a little squiggly thing, you squiggle left and right so you can make sure you catch them if they try to go over a wall and counter you. But I gotta be honest, man, like, a decent plague is very oppressive to go against. Like, and she's one of the few killers that she could attack you mid-range. Nemesis, Pyramid Head, Xenomorph coming out soon are killers that can attack you mid-range. But it's scary. Like, she feels kind of anti-loop too sometimes, where depending on what kind of loop you're in, she could just shoot you over the loop, and then there's nothing you could do. And then also if you go against a Thanatophobia plague, that's not fun, because her power works well where you can't really heal unless you cleanse. But if you cleanse, you give her the power, the corrupt purge, and then she could just down you all in one hit, and you're gonna get reinfected anyway, because she's definitely shooting her purge, her plague thing everywhere, on totems, on pallets, on vaults, on gens, so on your teammates. When you unhook a teammate that's already been infected, you're gonna get infected too. So there's like no point in cleansing yourself so you can get full health, because you're gonna get sick again anyway, just playing the game. And then you're gonna be broken if she keeps shooting you with the thing. So you can't really heal, you can't use a med kit, so you lose the last line of defense. She's not totally anti-loop, but she does have a denial of gameplay where you have less chances and chases and lives against her, because you're forced to stay injured, and then you can use perks that punish survivors for staying injured. So she's not really fun to play against, unfortunately, but she's very strong. But she's not really fun to go against because she's just very powerful, and there's still that element of denial of gameplay. But instead of loops, it's like chases. You don't have as many chases because you're one shot down essentially, because you're always injured. Pyramid Head, it depends, but I'll give him a B. It's a painful B, but he doesn't deserve a C neither. I say a B because it can be fun to go against a Pyramid Head that's actually really good with shots, and it is fun dodging his sword beam, his knife beam. It is not as fun when it's in the map like Midwich, where the loops already suck and there's not a lot of room to kind of juice, because you could loop around. There's that wall, the classroom wall, so you're kind of stuck there. You can't really like dodge it. Like, for example, if a Hillbilly tries to curve you on that, if you're like on looping a couch or a table and there's a wall next to you, right, because it's in the classroom, you're in one of those rooms, you can't really juke it because you don't have a lot of room to turn right or something, because you're between the wall and the loop. So that's not easy going against anti-loop killers in like a map like that. And Pyramid Head is an anti-loop, so that kind of ruins the fun. But dodging his sword beam is fun, and without it, he is a basic attack killer. But of course, Pyramid Head can also just pretend to go for the knife, and then you're like trying to juke it, and then he doesn't do it, and then, oh damn, I just tried to dodge it for no reason. But then if I didn't dodge it, he probably would have shot it. So there's still that denial of gameplay as well, and then he can just hit you, and you're like, oh man. So he can feel oppressive sometimes too, not like a plague, and definitely not like Nemesis. We'll get to Nemesis in a bit, but he's definitely fun to go against. It can be frustrating as well, because if you're a flashlight squad, he also has a denial of gameplay in the sense that if you down a survivor as Pyramid Head, he's fun to play as, by the way. He's not fun to play as if you're missing all the time, but when you hit your shots and you're able to use your Cage of Atonement, and when you get the Mori, the quick Mori, or even your real Mori, then he's definitely very fun to play as. But he can also feel a bit oppressive sometimes too, if you're really good or if you're having a really good game. But you're trying to win. It makes sense. But as Survivor, like, sometimes it just feels like you're kind of screwed either way. But the good thing about Pyramid Head, and bad thing as well, for Killer is good, but Survivor is bad, is that if you have a flashlight squad, or you're trying to abuse Boil Over, or you're trying to Sabo, if he gets you into the torment, if you're tormented, he can just down you and then just put you in the Cage of Atonement, or just Mori you, and doesn't even have to hook you. He doesn't abide by the entity's rules, which is to pick up a survivor and put on the hook. He just kind of does his own thing if he wants to, because he's that powerful. He defies the entity in that way. He just has to fulfill that requirement, which is to torment you. So that's the denial of gameplay for the Sabo squad, or the Bully squad, the Flashlight squads, or the Boil Over abusers trying to use terrible map design to, get another chance because they suck at chase, for example. that might not be as fun to go against. That's why I have to give him a B. It's like it depends on the play style and how well he does, and what your play style is, and what the counter is that you both have for each other. So that's why I don't want to give him a C, because it's not true. He can be fun to go against, and he's very unique. But then it's like, you know, he's unique, but then it's like, you know, he has that denial of gameplay where, you know, you can bring in flashlights and stuff and it doesn't matter because you can't go for a flashlight save because he just sends you to a cage and then he saves himself 15 seconds from hooking. So that's one thing. Nurse, honestly, I think Nurse is fun to go against. I'll give her an A, but this is the thing. This is a difficult A because we've all gone against a deity nurse, like a nurse that was just like a straight up God, bro. Like she just don't miss a blink. She's too good. And I know you guys remember, those OGs have gone against 7 blink nurses. I don't know how that's like, but jeez Christ. Like, I don't even want to think about that. Like, that must have been crazy. So, she's definitely in a better place now, but I think her nerf right now is a little too much. I think they should have let her have 1 blink and it still be a basic attack. Because she's still the slowest killer in the game, so it isn't fair that now you're denied like half the perks. You can't use Sloppy Butcher, you can't use Starstruck, and they're just trying not to make her so oppressive and strong and overwhelmingly strong, because she was very overwhelmingly strong compared to other killers before her huge nerf. Because, you know, Survivor Means complain about everything. I'm sorry, Survivor Means, it's the truth. Y'all complain about everything. I'm sorry. I play both sides. Y'all complain too much. It's really not that serious. It takes a lot of skill, and not every nurse you go against is that strong. Like, I've gone against very good nurses, but most of the time, people just can blink and that's it. So, I think she's fun to go against when she's good, but not too good. Where you can have a little exchange with her, like, oh look, I double backed, and like there's no killer like her neither. She's the only killer where you can't drop pallets at, but you could still loop her. And the counter to her is, it might not seem fun, but you know, every killer got to be played different, or else what's the point, right? So with her, you go to the corner of the map and you just run straight, and you just keep staying on the corner and run straight and get out of the field of view. And there might be times where she might catch up to you, and that's when you gotta play that little fun game of, should I double back, you know. Do I hit her with a little dead hard there? And do I 99% my sprint burst? You know, there's a lot of fun things you can do, and it is very satisfying when you do get a pallet stun on her. I don't know any killer where it feels satisfying to get a pallet stun on her, except Nurse, because it's very rare to do it, and it feels so good when you have smash hit. And one time I had a Nurse who fatigued, and I hit her with the pallet, and of course she's fatigued, so she's not going to get stunned again, because it was during the change, so you couldn't double stun her. She doesn't get the fatigue and then a stun. If she gets out of fatigue, she's fatigued. She can't get stunned for a while now. So what I did was I had smash hit. I hit her when she was fatigued, and I still zipped away. So I didn't get the stun, but I still got the value from the perk where I got my distance. So, like, that's a cool interaction you don't get with other killers. So I think she's definitely fun to play against, as long as she's not like a straight-up goon nurse, like a straight-up GOON goon. And as long as she's not some sweaty, super gamer nurse, she's definitely fun to play against. So, you know, but when she's a straight-up deity, and especially back then when Infectious Fright used to work with Blinks and Starstruck, then yeah, that was very difficult to go against, I cannot lie. But it takes skill to use her. It takes practice. And like I said, killers should not be punished for being good at the killer they're using. The person behind the screen put in the time and effort to learn the killer and the power and the add-ons and builds. They deserve to be rewarded for good gameplay, and if they did not play well, then they should be punished, and the survivors capitalize off of it. That's how it should be. It should not be, oh, I can only win this game if survivors make mistakes. It should be, I should win the game because I played well, and capitalizing off of survivors' mistakes. It shouldn't be exclusively, oh, I hope the survivors make a mistake so I can finally get a hit in, or I can finally get a down, or finally get a hook, you know? Okay. Let's pick somebody. Let me pick somebody who I think might be lower in the list. Legion. C. Same explanation as Plague. They're a killer that is not worth healing, so there's a denial of gameplay there. You put the Natophobia, Dying Light, it's so not fun. Pentimento, with both of them, it's not fun. Because it synergizes well when everyone is injured. That's their power. The whole thing is to keep you injured. There's just no point in healing against the Legion. So if you heal against the Legion, I don't know what you're doing. please stop. There's no point. But then you're one shot down, so that's when you gotta have good looping skills. But a Legion that has undetectable can be very strong because they come out of nowhere and then they just hit you, and then or they'll be so up close to you that you don't even realize, and then you don't reach a pallet or a vault, and then you're down. And it's like, oh man, I didn't get another chance because I'm always injured. What am I supposed to do? And yeah, that's unfortunate. So playing as them, I think they're fun, but they can be a little annoying because with their power you can only injure, but you can't actually down. So they're still stuck to being a basic attack killer and don't have any power besides hitting everyone and getting them injured. But they have dope cosmetics, so and there's like 4 different people you could play as, so I think it's pretty cool. But playing against them, it's definitely a C. I can't even want to give them a D, honestly, but they've been improved and buffed very well. The rock music is cool, so just because of the music, I'm gonna keep it at a C. The Terroriators music is just dope, and like when they're close and when they're chasing you, it's just straight up. Like the theme song alone should just be S tier. Honestly, like it's dope. But playing against them, sadly, is definitely like a C. I even want to give them a D sometimes, but definitely a C. Because like there's just nothing much to the power. It has its flaws, it's not very fun. You're playing Mending Simulator, and then you just finish mending, and then you get hit again. It's like, and then the Thanatophobia is like, Thankfully, not every Legion runs that, and it's not cool if you do. But like the Thanatophobia isn't very useful unless you're playing it on Plague and Legion, so I get it. So it is what it is. Trickster, I'll give I don't know. I want to put him in between B and C. I'll give him a C. Playing as him can be frustrating, especially on console. It's hard to control the knives, and then like I don't know what it is, bro. Like it's not easy. So like shit, like it's really not fun. But going against a Trickster that has, the ricochet blades can be kind of fun, but also can be like, wait, whoa, chill. Could be oppressive. And a good Trickster is really not fun to go against. But like a bad Trickster is definitely not fun to go against. And then like a medium Trickster is like, well, you're just getting hit by knives all day. Like, I don't know, like playing as him, he can definitely be fun and cool. He's definitely cool to play as. It's just, it could take a while to get some hits in. It takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of precision and practice, but it doesn't feel rewarding. Like you have this high skill ceiling, but then like it doesn't feel as rewarding, because if you miss enough, then you gotta go and reload. You have to actually put Iron Maiden if you want to reload fast, kind of like Huntress. But that's what gives the perk its viability, is that at least it's useful on someone. So it feels like a Legion, Plague, Thanatophobia kind of situation where you feel like you have to run that perk so you can actually use it, and it works so well with them, you want to win. But and then his power, I feel like, doesn't really get modified much, because you're literally just throwing knives at people. But it's cool going against long range killers, because they're a threat from close and far. So you have different. You have to actually juke all the time. You have to juke all the time, and then dodging main event can be interesting as well. But that doesn't happen too often, unfortunately. So I don't know. I'll give him a C. He's just a basic attack killer with some knives here and there. It can be very interesting with ricochet blades, but that works better in indoor maps. Most of the maps are outdoor, so who knows. Dredge, I give the homie Dredge. I give him an A. The power is very unique, nothing like it. You make the map super dark. It's very strong in a very unique way. He's not anti-loop. He is anti-loop, but like it takes skill, and you can counteract it. You just have to go through his husk. But then there's that fun mind game where if there's a pallet between you and the survivor and you're playing Dredge, you set your husk, you go around to try to hit them, and then they have to do the little guessing game of, okay, I should vault. But then as soon as you see them vault, you just teleport to the thing and then you hit them. So that's not like very oppressive because all they have to do is just leave the loop. But if they're in Midwich, where they can't really go anywhere, if they're stuck between going in a loop and there's a wall against it, they just have to take the hit. But it makes that fun mind game of, oh, should I pretend like I vaulted, but let's say I point, and then make the killer think that I vaulted, and even though I didn't. Like, it's fun mind games like that you could do. The jump scares are hilarious as well. You're just running, and then you hear the locker just go boom. You're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Oh gosh, what? And then you get hit. It's awesome. Or when you just try to close the locker to counter him, and next thing you know, Dredge grabs you. Like, I think he's so fun to go against, honestly. No, matter of fact, I put the homie S, bro. He's S. Dredge is S tier to go against. Playing as him, he can be fun, but he's still a basic attack killer. People can still pre-drop and run straight. And he's very RNG dependent. You can't control where the lockers are placed. So there's some maps where there's barely any lockers, and there's others like RPD, which people laud it as his best map, and they'll say that it's his best map. And there's lockers everywhere. You can go to the top and bottom floors and basement very quickly. Territorial Imperative actually works on him. Whatever that perk does, right? But it works on him. You could see the R's of people going to the basement. You could just go straight there because you have lockers there. So I think he's S tier. He's definitely fun to play against. Finally, we have someone in S. But it just shows you that a lot of the killers are not too fun to go against. They're not like perfect. Sadako, I'll give her B. She's not anti-loop. She can teleport. She's definitely fun to play as, for sure. Like, playing as, she could be a soft S tier, definitely A. But playing against her, man, like, even before the rework of her, just dealing with a condemned Sadako was so boring. Like, I don't even like to play that. And, like, shout out to One Pump Willie, but I can't watch him too much sometimes. No disrespect, but the videos get kind of long, and you're just repeatedly breaking the gen and give you time back when gen regression perks are pretty viable, the 3-genning and everything. But like that, those matches get long as shit just to condemn people, and then like you have you have to slug to really make sure you get value out of the tapes with the rework. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. Now you gotta hit people with tapes, and if they just put the TV, the cassette tape into the TV, boom, they lose all their condemned. Like, nah, bruh. I like the before. It was like, if they were condemned, it stayed that way. They could, if they lost condemned, it's because they earned it from holding a tape. But, like, I don't know. Like, I understand that behavior is trying to make you grab the tape and kind of force you to interact with her power, but there's good things about the new rework, and then good things about the old original power design, and I don't know. But the condemned strat, I don't enjoy it. It's not fun to play against, but she's not anti-loop. Her cooldown animation is cool. Her animations are cool. She's one of the few killers that doesn't even touch you when she picks you up. Like, Pinhead still at least touches you on his shoulder, but he's pretty lazy too. He's like Sadako. He just lets the chains do all the work, and she doesn't even hit you, bro. Her telekinesis, psychic powers hits you, so kind of like Pinhead. Then his chains, she has her telekinesis thing, so they're cool in that sense. That they're kind of lazy killers. They don't really do anything. They just let their power do everything. But I say she's a B. I always think it's fun going against her, but the condemned strat isn't very fun. But it's fun when she comes out of nowhere. She looks really scary, especially back in the day when she first came out, and she used to like bend over and chase you. Remember that during the patch, during the PTV? That was fun. And when she came out, she used to bend over chasing you. She always seems really fast. She's the only killer that's short. She has her own little anti-loop in the sense that if you have the add-on that makes her invisible longer during her manifesting, and when she demanifests, you don't realize that she's like invisible. So then she's kind of anti-loop, but like in a cool way, where it's up to your skill as the killer and then your survivor instincts. So, like, it's very well designed. You just gotta time it properly and pallet drop properly or whatever. But she has a little anti-loop, but it's like you have to do it. So you are manifested, you're invisible, and then you try to demanifest while getting up to them while you're invisible, and then you hit them. Like stuff like that, or using her small size so that the people don't know exactly where you're at, and if you try to hide the red light, you can do some cool little mind games with her. So that's what I think. So I think she's a B. Yeah, kind of an A to play against, but it's just a condemned strat. I don't know. And a lot of people run that. Pig. I give her a C. I kind of even want to put a D sometimes because she's just a basic attack killer. That's it. There's nothing really interesting about her. The traps is just, it's a little inconvenience. It's a slowdown for her, but playing as her, I feel like the survivors just get it off real quick. And then survivors also get mad when you hit them while they're trying to get the trap off. But it's like, hey, I'm trying to win. But then they're also like, well, I'm trying to get the trap off. So you can, playing as her and against her can be annoying because somebody's going to get mad at you or you're going to get mad because of, the interactivity is not fun. Getting hit while you're trying to undo a trap is definitely not a good feeling. So it is what it is. Like I don't really know what to say too much besides the fact that she's just a basic attack killer, and then she has a trap on you. And then the worst part is that the little lunge she has, the little lion roar that she does, even though she's called the pig, but she sounds like a lion. The booping the snoot thing is fun, but a lot of pigs are into that stuff. So you lose that fun part where she could have been a B just for that. She literally could have been a B if people booped the snoot more, but that's an old thing, People don't do that no more. It's not 2018 no more. It's 2023 as of the release of this video, I think. So, you know what I'm saying? So, the lunge attack is trash because you can tell where it's coming from. It's not even viable when you play with it. You try to use the ambush attack. There you go, the ambush attack, and it takes too long to actually get off, and it's very weak, very counterable. So, I don't know. Wesker, I put him A, bro. It's definitely fun to play against. The terror radius thing is kind of funny too because his terror radius is so big, sometimes you don't even know he's chasing you. And then, you can run any build on Wesker, so you can see a lot of killer variety there. He's also the only killer that can throw people. I think it's really fun seeing a yeet Wesker. Survivors might put him a D because they're like, yo, I see him all the time. But it's because he's so fun to play as. So he's fun to play against. Like, you have to deal with, anytime a killer launches himself at you, like Billy, Oni, like those guys are always fun to go against because they're high mobility killers that can hurt you while being high mobility. So I'll give him an A. I would give him an S, but his power is very simple. It's too simple. It's not a high skill ceiling, so it's not too much going on there. So, but he still gets a respectable A. So he deserves an A for sure. So I'll give him an A. So he's definitely A tier killer to go against. A tier to play as. You can even put him S tier if you want. You can play any build with him. He has a fun power. You can throw survivors. You have built-in slowdown. There's interactivity. So he's the total package for sure. Nemesis. Man, I want to give him a C, but I want to give him a B too. Nah, I'm going to give him a C. The reason is because he's the most oppressive one-on-one killer along with Trickster in regards to certain loops. In regards to short loops where they can hit you over it, they are the most oppressive killers to go against in a one-on-one scenario. Those two, Trickster and Nemesis, can hit you in a way where they hit you over small loops. So in Midwich especially, they could, you're in a little table and your head pops out and they just hit you with the tentacle or the knife. And then the zombies, sometimes the zombies are even better than the Nemesis. You have two zombies that are blocking you, especially in the indoor map. You're like, oh shoot, and then the Nemesis is right there on the other side and you're like, I'm in a lose-lose situation. And then sometimes it can be fun where you're like, well, I'm healthy, I'm not infected yet, so I'm gonna let the zombie hit me so I get a little speed boost. But then Nemesis is gonna catch up to you eventually and then he's gonna hit you. He's gonna pop you with the tentacle and that's it. You're gonna get whipped. So he has his own built-in slowdown too. He has the infection. The zombies can be a little annoying. They're definitely fun in terms of interactivity. You can blind the zombies so they're neutralized for about 10 seconds. They just stand still. You can do funny stuff you can go yeah with them, and it's fun playing with the zombies. So that's why I kind of want to put them in the B, because they're AI, so they'll automatically try to hit you once you get really close. But you can dodge it. Like Sui has a few clips of him just messing around with the zombies along with his friends, with the survivors, and they're just trying to dodge the thing, and they're playing games like who gets hit by the zombie first, and if you go down you lose, and whoever's the last person standing wins. So That could be fun. But then it could be a little oppressive where you have a good Nemesis who's already hitting you with the whip. You all you can do is pre-drop and run straight against Nemesis, so that's not fun. There's a denial of gameplay there with the anti-loop. But then, like, you have to deal with, like, freaking zombies as well, so he's really anti-loop, so it's like, what are you supposed to do? So he takes away the fun part of the game, which is the anti-loop. But if you're going against a Nemesis that's not too good, but he's not bad neither, you can have some fun moments. Like, I played as Jane one time and went against this Nemesis, and we had a fun match in Bad and Preschool. So, it's all dependent. So because of that, I have to give him a C. You can do some fun stuff with him. In regards to his base kit, his power, but just hitting over loops, and then when you try to vault or you throw a pallet and he hits you still, and you vault the pallet and he hits you anyway, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Because he's faster than you, so he's gonna get up close to you, so you're gonna get hit. So there's like nothing you can really do, sadly. And then, so let's move on. So Hag, I put Hag. I don't want to put D, but she's very strong. I'll put C. So Hag, her powers is just like, you set the trap and you teleport, and it is annoying because you can go against the Hag that as soon as she hooks someone, she starts putting traps around. That was very good back in the day when she first came out, but she might be a little outdated. I don't think she needs a rework. You don't see her often either, so it's not worth it. She doesn't even get picked 1% of the time. Like, killer mains don't even like her. I love her. I think she's amazing. Shout out to my girl, Lisa Sherwood. The homie Hag is lit. She's awesome. She's very strong. I still think she's a top 5 killer under certain circumstances. She's definitely top 5. Could be the 4th best killer. I don't know. There's new killers every 3 months, so that list is subject to change, but she's still pretty good. A little map dependent. Strong, big maps are not good for her. And she can feel a little oppressive if the Hag is really good. Like, Hag can even feel stronger than Blight, and she can just hit you all over the place. Like, multiple people, if you all set off traps at different times. So she is fun to go against because there's this jump scares, right? And then it is scary when you see a really fast Hag coming at you. You're like, oh shit, yo, she's so fast. It's just because she has the add-on that doesn't let her teleport anymore. And then the body blocker Hag is very interesting to go against, and it's interesting to play as. So she has some versatility with her power and the add-on changes. So that's why I felt like giving her a B, but you see her rarely as well. But a lot of Hags, they kind of just, put a web of traps, and then it feels like you're like tunneling and camping, but that's her playstyle. She's very slow, like Nurse. She's very slow, so it's like, what are you supposed to do? So you can't even fault the killer for that. That's just the killer design. So that's not really something to get mad at the player at. They're just doing what the power. They're just trying to use the power the best they can, and that's just the design. That's how it was designed. We didn't design it. Behavior did. So, it is what it is. She might need a rework, but you don't see her often, so it might not be necessary. But she's okay to go against, it's not a big deal. She's okay. Pinhead, I'm going to give this dude a C. I wanted to put D, but I'll give him a C. And the reason is because, bro, those chains are annoying. Now, they say if you get hit by like 3 chains, you can finally, or something like that, you can finally use the box. But I don't know, bro. Like if you're in an uncoordinated solo queue team, like, it's so annoying because you're like, well, who's going to go for the box? And then you don't want to keep going for the box. Or if you have, if you're injured and then your teammates are too cowardly to go for the box because they don't want to get chased. But then you have the chain storm thing, where all those chains hit you if you don't do it within the allotted time. So it's good because he has a built-in slowdown. You can do fun builds with him where you can give survivors other objectives besides doing gens, like, cleansing a Hex Pentimento or a Plaything or something to Devour Hope. He can be oppressive sometimes if you're not a coordinated team, so you might not have fun. But if you're a coordinated team, then it just takes a little more effort. He's most likely good in tournaments, I would imagine. But, yeah, like, sheesh. So, to me, I don't think he's all that great to play against, but he's not totally oppressive neither. He's anti-loop, but, like, the killer actually has to hit his chain, so you gotta give him props for that. But it's just a chain hunt. That's what it is. A chain hunt can be a little annoying, but you can counter it. You just gotta get someone to open the box so he can come. Spirit, Spirit, I'll give her, I'll give her a C. I'll give Spirit a C. The reason, a really good Spirit, boring. A Spirit that's really good with the busted add-ons like Mother Daughter and the thing that gives the killer instinct, that can be really boring. She's more fun to go against if you and her playing the guessing game, like she's trying to guess where you're at, and then you're trying to play the game of should I drop the pallet, or if you have deception and diversion, and you do a sound-based build to try to deceive her, and then the Spirit's like, oh, I'm using my power, I'm using my phase walk, or I hear you breathing, boom, I hit you. Like, that's skill. Like, I can't even get mad at that. But once you do the little mother-daughter thing and the killer instinct and the iridescent add-ons and the strong stuff and the add-ons are what's helping you get your hits, I'm not into that. But if you're just strictly just playing Spirit, where it's like I'm trying to guess where you are by hearing you and your cries and moans of pains and everything, it's a little better that way. It feels more fair. And she's still a top 5 killer in the game. She might be the 3rd or 4th best killer in the game, maybe. You can run any kind of build with her. You can run anything with her. She doesn't have a special attack, just the phase walk, but she's very strong with Awaken Awareness and Starstruck. So, besides the busted add-ons she might have, if you don't run the busted add-ons and you go against survivors, I think they'll say, yeah, she was cool. She's fun to go against. She might be a little B, maybe a low B, a soft B, but it depends, But a really good Spirit is definitely not fun to go against, but, it's just that little guessing game. And back in the day when you could not tell if she was phasing, that was tough. I would have put her D. If it was old Spirit where you couldn't hear her, oh gosh, if she was a D. She was an F. We don't even have an F here. I would have put her F. Because she was the only killer I ever seen where she didn't even have to move in order to down you. Because you'd be stuck in a loop against her. She's just standing by a pallet and you have a drop pallet and you're like, okay, let me just vault. Because I think I've been waiting like 20 seconds. I think she finally phase walked and she did it. And then she grabs you by the neck. Because you vault and you're like, oh, fuck. So she's definitely in a better place now. So I'll give her a C. Oni. The homie Oni, S. Dodging his power, S tier for sure. He's not oppressive. His early game sucks, but once he gets his power going, it's so fun. Like, it's terrifying going against a killer who's really fast and can down you in one hit. And then just juicing it is fun. But if he downs you, it's like, okay. And then he can slug your whole team. And then you guys have to do the whole thing of, oh, I have Boon Exponential, I have Unbreakable. Yo, pick me up, bro. Oh, shit, he got Force Hesitation. Yo, I'm slow. Let me try to drop this pallet real quick. Like, it could be a little thrilling. And if he has Infectious Fright, and then if he has Monitor and Abuse, his chase music or his terrorization music is already a little quiet. And he comes up to you and you're like, oh, snap. Or like a Oni just coming out of nowhere. You hear that whoosh, that little rushing sound from his, Cannibal when he's doing his demon rush. Like, oh shit, let me find the pallet real quick. And when you dodge, it's very thrilling. Or when you pre-drop and he breaks it and you flashlight after, and then you find a vault later. You could do some fun chases with Oni, even though he's a one-shot killer when he has his power, and it's not throughout the game. It's not like Bubba or Billy, where they are. They can use their power to down you anytime. Like Oni, he earns it, so you have to respect it. He earned the ability to down you with one hit, and then the Oni flicks are fun. They're fun to watch. It's scary to go against, but it's easily counterable. You can FOV tech an Oni as well, and it's funny when you see him, pick up his Cannibal ready to smash you, demon smash you, and then you do a FOV tech, and then he turns around and he hits the wall, So I think he's fun to go against for sure. He's definitely S tier for sure. Dredge and Oni, we finally got 2 people in S tier. We don't have too many D tier, so that's good. Ghostface, I don't know. Playing as him could be more frustrating. I think Myers is easier. You guys know I can't stand this dude. This is the killer I hate playing against the most. I'm trying to be objective and not like say weird shit. I don't want to put B, but he's not oppressive either. I'll put B. He's not oppressive. Stealth killer. He can mark you. If he marks you, he earned it. It can be tough trying to break him from marking you when he stalks you because of his buff. He needed the buff though. Like, you should not be able to mark to get him out of his stealth, out of his power, even though you've been marked. So that was a good change. But there are times where I'm staring at him for like 5 seconds and he still gets me anyway. So that's annoying. Some Ghostfaces do take advantage and only stalk to try to one-shot down you instead of chasing you. So some survivors will say, oh, I want to see them chase me like a man for one. So that's just what people think of Ghostface. It can get frustrating to go against him, so I don't know. But he is loopable. Every time you see a Ghostface, they either want to farm or, they just want to play serious. And I've gotten some really good clips against Ghostface, even though I can't stand him. He's the killer I hate the most going against. But it's because I just see him all the time. Almost every single time I log into this game, I just see a freaking Ghostface. But honestly, he is fun to go against because I just be juking him all the time. Like, the best jukes I ever had are Ghostface and Huntress, honestly, hands down. So now I'm going for Bubba. He's S tier, no questions asked. When I go against Bubba, I know it's gonna be a fun game. And even if I were to get face camped by Bubba, bro, I don't even get mad because it's Bubba. Like, this is regular stuff. They're just going by the meme. Like, that's the meme as old as Bubba came out, and it's just hilarious. Like, people might get tired of Boop the Snoop, but the face camping Bubba, basement Bubba never gets old. It's just funny. The basement Bubba is a little too strong. It is annoying. But just the face camping Bubba is absolutely hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious to go against. I love it. I think it's funny. Good thing now we have built-in BT, so there's definitely a better quality of life change. So it's definitely easier dealing with a Bubba now because you got the built-in BT, base kit BT, but your teammate's gonna get down, so that's why you have to exchange and do some good teamwork. But it is hard. Bubba's still strong to go. It's still the best camper in the game. Huntress 2, a Pinky Finger Cloud is still a good camper, so it's gonna be. It's hard dealing with those, so it can be unfun to go against, honestly. But the meme is just hilarious. And, like, Bubba's always fun to go against. He's very powerful one-on-one, but let's be honest. Every time we see a cool Bully Squad video from our favorite survivors or favorite content creators, the best videos are always against the Bubba. And, like, Bubbas, they all play the same. It's not all, but most of them play the same. It's kind of funny. They just play like a meathead, like just straight dumb, like a douche face. It's like, what are you doing? Like, they all play like dummies, and then they overcommit. And the most 5-gen chases I've ever seen is against the Bubba. So that, hands down, is hilarious. Why he deserves to be S tier. He is absolutely fun to go against, especially if you're a Bully Squad. Like, it is annoying because most of the time a Bubba does have Franklin's demise, but that is his perk. It is also funny though when they hit you, take you, so then you drop your flashlight or something, and then they DC to spite you, so you can lose your flashlight forever. It is so funny, but it is what it is, man. But Bubba is so fun to go against. Dodging the chainsaw is awesome. You're so much interactivity with him. Even when he's camping, there's still a lot of interactivity. You can actually loop him. His chainsaw isn't oppressive. You just need to find a vault or a pallet. And then the fun part is actually timing it. But there could be some hit validation where if you do try to time it, then, you still get hit while you stun him, which is the worst. You get downed and you stun him. And then any Bubba that has the meme, M-E-M-E add-on, that you still, like, if a survivor's healthy and he chainsaws you and you're still standing, you're just hurt, that's a Chad Bubba, man. And then a flick Bubba. I've never gone against one. A Bubba that moonsaw, so he moonwalks backwards. He moonwalks, but he still has the chainsaw and he's using that to mind game you. So, like, people like Lucas and Bread, those guys, those Bubba mains, and the Team Taj, man, they're good with that. Like, especially Bread. He might be the best moonsaw Bubba. And Bubba can do some fun mind games on loops, so he has his own funny little, what do you call it? Anti-loop, but it's well designed. It's counterable, and the killer has to actually do it themselves. Not like you put something and then you go on the other side and then you anti-loop. No, so Bubba's definitely S tier. He could be the most fun killer to go against, honestly. definitely is the most fun killer to go against. Hands down is the homie Bubba. Now, last but not least, our boy Billy. D tier. I'm just kidding. Hell to the freaking no. Go back down there. Oh my gosh, I messed that up. Homie Billy needs to go all the way up here. Dredge, move. There you go. This is in order. No, Bubba gotta be here. So, the least most fun killer to go against, second least most fun, second most fun, and the absolute most fun killer to go against. But this could be controversial, but this is this guy, Hillbilly, Max Thompson Jr. over here. The guy that can't speak an actual language. The guy who's tortured by his family. The guy who the devs hate. The killer they hate the most. I don't know why. Is the most fun killer they have ever designed. The most fun killer to play as. The most fun killer to play against. The homie Billy right here. There's no questions asked, bro. I mean, of course it is annoying. Like, if the Billy's really good and you're just straight trash, or, you know, he's just downing you fast. A little RNG dependent too. Where you get down pretty quick because he has the one-shot down ability. But let's just be honest. Like, in a killer tier list, at best, Billy's a B. Might be a C's kind of harsh. But B, I feel like it's kind of being too generous, too. But he used to be really strong. He used to be up there with best killer in the game, along with Nurse back in the day. I'm talking about, like, before that harsh nerf in 2020. Like, Hens has a good video showing you how strong Billy used to be in 2019. Jesus. That man was a straight monster back then. And with, you know... And then Billy, even though his power is very simple, it's just chainsaw, go straight really fast, you could do so many variations back then and even now. You have the Instasaw Billy, you have Hillbilly, the curving Billy, you have Billy with no add-ons, you have Drift King Billy, but they took all that fun stuff away because they put the stupid overheat crap, or now they nerfed Drift King Billy, so now you can't even go long distances for very long, but you can rev your chainsaw for very long, so it's good for double engravings. But not the fun part, which is using the chainsaw for traversal. So, and then Billy can also do the silent chainsaw. He can also do the meme add-on, M-E-M-E, just like Bubba, where if he chainsaws you, you could still live. You would just go to the hurt status effect, the injured status effect. So you could do a save the best for last Billy, which is really hilarious. I have yet to try it, but I have used the meme add-on before in a video, very old video, one of my first videos. I have used it. And, geez, like, Billy's just so fun. You could do so many different playstyles. You could do Silent Hillbilly. You can do a build where you're just sneaking up on survivors trying to get chainsaw snipes. You know, with Hexplay thing, Trail of Torment, which got buffed, by the way, with the Apex Muffler add-on, the Iridescent, so they can't hear your chainsaw, which is hilarious. And it's awesome to use with machine learning as well because he'll be undetectable. You can go for a good snipe. You know, like, there's just so many fun playstyles with Billy. I wouldn't say there's too many builds you can use on him, but you could use any build. You could use any perks on him, but, you know, I wouldn't want to use something like Jolt or something like that if you have the chainsaw, because I'm the kind of guy that's going for chainsaws all the time. And, you know, like, double engravings Hillbilly is so fun to go against when you try to dodge the curves on the Sin car, right, on the cars that have no collision. It's really fun. Just testing the Hillbilly skill. You know, being paranoid and wondering if he's coming right for you. You can go get some really good jump scares against Billy. So I gotta put the homie Billy S tier. He is the most fun killer to go against, and I know he was even more fun to play as and play against back then. Yeah, I know he was a little frustrating because of the crack Billy stuff, but man, let's just be honest, bro. Billy's the best killer that they've ever designed. Like, he is the most fun. Like, you can't go wrong. Like, you could put 3 Hillbillies that just chainsaw and, like, a really good Billy's 3 in a row against me. I'll be the happiest man on earth. I'd rather go against 3 Hillbillies than go against a Knight, Skull Merchant, and freaking Nemesis. You know what I'm saying? Like, these 3 are just so annoying with the hitboxes, or the 3-genning, or using the AI to help you. Like, I'm not with all that. Billy, it's like if I get curved, I got curved because the killer did that. The Hillbilly got me with that one. And that's on me if I miss. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes the hitboxes be a little janky sometimes where you feel like you turn to the other side of the loop and you still get curved anyway. And you're like, yo, he didn't even touch me. But that is how it is. But honestly, I say the homie Billy is the best killer to go against and the most fun killer in the game. Him and Oni are the most fun to play as. But, man, to go against... the homie Billy. Bubba comes very close. Of course, the 2 chainsaw killers are the most fun killers to go against. The guy right here moves very fast and can down you in 1 hit, but it is so scary, but it is so fun to go against. And we all respect the Hillbilly that does chainsaw only. And you don't have to do chainsaw only. The only thing that isn't fun to go against, the only time Billy isn't fun to go against is a Billy that doesn't use a chainsaw. This is so boring. But even then, it's alright. It's not a bad game, but it's more fun when he uses a chainsaw as a weapon and for traversal. So that's about it, guys, about the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. A different kind of video than usual, but I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever you are in the world. Take care. Be a good person. Drink water. Eat your vitamins. Eat healthy. Make sure you get your proteins as well. Exercise. Do your thing. Have fun playing DBD or any other games you play. And hopefully we get some more Hillbillies out there, man, because Hillbilly's so fun. Like, the killer pool is definitely diluting because they're adding more and more killers every day. We're definitely going to see a lot of Xenomorph as well as Wesker. So, but Hillbilly, man, like, I would like to see more Hillbillies out there. Some Onis too. Dredge. I don't see Dredge often. I'd love to see Dredge. But he's picked enough, so that's good. But hope to see you guys on the next upload. Take care, fam. And thank you for your support and for watching the video. Have a great one.